When good mutants die or go missing, when no one else can help, who will you turn to besides X-Factor investigations? All this and more in the pages of X-Factor, issue number 1. Let's hop on in together, shall we? Alright then, so this brand new book from Leah Williams wastes absolutely no time getting started. As Alpha Flight's Jean-Paul, aka Northstar, has himself a horrifying premonition of the death involving his twin sister Aurora. Wasting no time, Northstar decides to go directly to the Five, the powerful mutants in charge of the resurrection protocols here on Krakoa, and he really lays into them. He calls them lazy, he says that they've developed egos ever since they've become these major mutant celebrities, and honestly, I think this is a really interesting scene because, well, we've seen the Five be nothing but cool in every other book. You get the distinct feeling here that Jean-Paul, even in his short-sighted anger, is saying stuff that probably a lot of other mutants feel but don't want to actually bring up in polite conversation. As the Five put it, they just can't bring Northstar's sister back to life on a hunch. He needs to prove that she's dead first of all, and then he also needs to wait in line with everyone else. Oh yeah, there's lines to this. That's how many people the Five are resurrecting every day in Krakoa, and because of that there needs to be rules and regulations governing it all, and well, that's just kinda not happening right now. And with that, this brand new mutant detective story, and make no mistake, this is 100% a detective book, finally has its first mystery. Who killed Aurora and why? With some help from Sage, who is also feeling overworked right now, basically being the mutant equivalent of Google for everyone on the island, Jean-Paul decides to retrace his sister's steps on her last days on the island. He goes to Blob's Tiki Bar, where he discovers his sister was drinking there 5 nights ago, even though as far as Jean-Paul was concerned, his sister doesn't drink. It seems that there's a lot about his twin he doesn't know. It's while yelling loudly at the bar, Jean-Paul ends up catching the attention of Polaris, Magneto's daughter, in fact his only kid right now who's still a mutant and a fixture of the original X-Factor. It seems that Polaris has opened a small detective company on the island trying to help mutants just like Jean-Paul with their missing loved ones, and she's willing to take the case. But for something this big and this involved, they may need to recruit some others. Daken, the son of Wolverine, decides to offer himself for the role, but no one wants to work with him. Northstar saying it's not so much that he's a former villain, but because he's a disaster bisexual who ruins everything he touches. Again, Northstar can say that because he's a happily married gay man and in fact probably one of the most prominent gay characters in all of Marvel Comics. Speaking of Daken, he's received something of a redesign that I know some people were considering controversial. Personally, I like it. The bulkier design definitely differentiates him from Jimmy Hudson and Laura. And again, to quote some of my own gay fans there on Twitter, it's like Daken went from twink to bear overnight. I know what some of those words mean. Rounding out the team, we have Prodigy, former New Mutant, as well as Young Avenger, who's going to be running the tech end of the operation. Hope Summers, who even though she's been flirting with Excalibur the last little bit, still hasn't actually been put on a main team, and she even brings her own baby werewolf, amazing baby, with her, who is just the cutest goddamn thing. Then you also got Trevor Hawkins, aka I-Boy, a holdover from the Jason Aaron X-Men run, who doesn't really so much join the team as he just kind of stumbles into the portal they're using, so I guess he's on the team. This motley crew of mutant crime solvers ends up tracing Aurora's trail all the way back to a sleazy motel where she was having a rendezvous with a mysterious fella. Prodigy tries to track her financial records to see where she's been spending money in the last little bit. Hope uses her chronal abilities to try and set up a time frame of her movements. And Daken uses his pheromone powers to seduce the front desk worker at the motel to get a little insight on all of Aurora's coming and goings. Eventually they get a promising lead and decide to take a look in the river where, thanks to Polaris's magnetic abilities, they're able to drag it and bring out not one but multiple crashed vehicles. It seems that a mutant supremacist caught wind of Aurora being there and opted to cut her brakes, but because he was a total idiot, he ended up getting killed himself not long after. X-Factor is able to bring Aurora's body back to the Five, and just like JP wanted in the beginning, he's able to jump the line. Solving this missing mutant case, which in turn became a mutant murder, Emperor makes the X-Factor the talk of the Quiet Council, and a meeting is held later to decide what to do next. Xavier, you'll recall a few issues back in the main X book, had thrown around the idea of creating a team to investigate dead and or missing mutants so they just don't resurrect people willy-nilly. The Five is also all for X-Factor continuing their good work because it takes a lot of pressure off them so they can concentrate just on the resurrection part. Also, Proteus gets to talk this issue, and I love how they write out his words very Scottishly. Now, if they're gonna have a team, they're gonna need a team leader, and Polaris surprises everyone, including her father Magneto, by choosing Jean Paul to be that leader. Oh, well, now isn't that interesting? Northstar started this issue all angry and defiant about the way Krakoa is run, but now he's totally been placated, huh? It's almost as if this played out exactly the way Polaris wanted it, who is still very much reporting back to her father. Now, where is X-Factor Investigations gonna run their new business out of? Well, Polaris has that one covered too, as we see that she's kind of formed an interesting relationship with the island. We see Polaris go into great detail talking about how great the magnetics and tectonics of the island make her feel, and the island even makes her a little bed out of crystal. Are Lorna and Krakoa the Living Island doing it? Because I kind of feel like they're doing it, and in fact this theory is further strengthened because when everyone wakes up the next day, Krakoa has built them a giant pulsating phallic tower, which Daken naturally calls the Boneyard. Yeah, you know, because they're trying to get justice for the dead and everything, and solving cold cases, and no, it's totally all about dicks. In fact, when Northstar's husband Kyle comes to visit for the team's housewarming party, Northstar literally closes the door on Daken to make sure he can't get anywhere near his husband. And so as the comic winds down, the brand new X-Factor is officially formed, and they got their work cut out for them as they have a massive backlog of missing and presumed dead mutant cases to work on. And so that was X-Factor issue number 1, and again, a hot damn, these Dawn of X-Men books are just killing it across the board. So creative, no two are alike. I love that this book really brings the crime and mystery flair to the world of the mutants and uses their powers in compelling ways to try and solve the mystery. It's also just a great mixture too of characters and personalities. I positively love what they've done with Daken here, taking a too edgy for me type villain and turning him into something of a comedy anti-hero. It's a stroke of genius, to say nothing of the fact that this is probably the most diverse cast of X-Men we've got in any of these books so far, and again, that's saying something because the X-Men catalog is deep and diverse in its own right. Yes, this first issue is a little wordy here and there, but that's the kind of book it is. The action is solving the crime itself. It's like CSI. They also had to dispense with a whole getting the team together story in one issue, which again, I applaud them for doing so. They jam a lot in a very short amount of time. Overall, I would give this one a 9 out of 10. This is a great start, and man, am I really gonna have to add another X-Men book to my rotation?
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.